Remember when you were young and everything in life seemed so much more fun and the possibilities seemed endless? Is that still the same for you, or has life become a serious business? Wherever you are, you can change it. What if more magic, fun, and possibilities were available to you right here, right now? Join Laura and Alun in the playground of possibility as they play, laugh, and explore new ways you can use to make your life more fun and to create more of what you desire.
Hello and welcome to the Playground of Possibilities with myself, Laura Borland, and my very, very lovely playmate, Alun Jones.
Gone.
Oh, he's here.
Hello,
I was thinking he's gone.
Hello.
Hello. And today we have a very special guest. I've been really looking forward to this show, actually. We have Tamara Juncker with us. So welcome, Tamara.
Thank you so much for having me. This is going to be fun, I can tell already.
This is going to be fun. Fasten your seatbelts, get ready for the ride. So Alun, tell us a little bit about today's show.
I'm just I was in a bit of a frenzy then, as I muted myself to stop myself from coughing, and then my buttons disappeared and I couldn't unmute myself. So I'm messaging Christine, definitely going, please tell everyone that I'm here. So anyway, yes, today's show. Go on, play with yourself. And quite clearly, that is what I'm doing right now, playing with myself. More later. So when it comes oh dear. When it comes to creating your life, how much of that is play for you? And, how many rules do you have about what play is, how much you can have, who it should be with, and how often? And can you remember when you, and can you remember when you were young playing games by yourself, how you were the one who decided what the rules were, and and it's funny because Laura and I were talking about this just before the show. It's like, what was the point of most of the play you had as a child? There was no point, it was just fun.
No.
And you didn't judge yourself the way you played, you just created, you just had fun, you played with curiosity. And so what we wanted to explore today was, what if creating your life could be the same? What if you are the sovereign of your reality and can create play in your life no matter where you are or what you're doing and what others are doing around you? So that's why one of the reasons we invited the awesome and amazing Tamara Juncker on the show to play with us about intimacy and playing with ourselves and all of that stuff. So, Tamara, how much play do you have in your life? And obviously I'm guessing it's none at all.
I'm sitting here and I'm
awesome.
cycling my giggles over here because I'm listening to you and I'm thinking this is hysterical because I have literally had to teach myself what play is. I've had to learn, and that may seem completely opposite, or like learn to play, teach yourself to play. That sounds kind of funny. I did not have what I would call joyful, play-filled childhood. It wasn't, I don't have all these memories of wonderful, bouncy, light, delightful. I just don't have that, and the thing is, there was heaviness in my world at such a young age. That's pretty much what I remember is heaviness and a lot of judgment and criticism and things like that, and fear and isolation and alienation and all of that. And I'm like, wow. And now I'm on a show talking about play.
Awesome.
What I've learned, the number one thing that I've learned about play is that it cannot exist in the presence of judgment. These two energies, play and judgment, are absolutely incompatible. So when I was a child, I went back and I was like, what are my earliest memories of playing alone, by myself, not with other children, but alone by myself? And what I realized is when I was playing alone by myself, I was playing at creating the world I wanted to live in. I wasn't a big fan of the world as it was, and that was, a big source of the alienation and the isolation and the withdrawal, and, it was just like, oh my God, I don't know about this place. This is craziness. So when I went and played alone, I was creating the world I wanted to live in. And the source of that energy and that world I wanted to live in was intimacy. I didn't experience that in my quote unquote regular life, but when I played with myself, it was there.
So, do you know what I really love? There's a couple of things that I really love. The first one is it's like actually you know, how many people make themselves wrong because they feel it can't play, and actually, you know, so the whole learning to play, it like totally resonates with me because me too. But also, it's like you said, intimacy, and I'm just, you know, I'm really curious. What does that mean for you, Tamara?
Yeah, oh God, you know, it's a vast conversation I could have. Believe me, I talk about this for days in my classes, and probably just as succinctly as I can say it, it's having no boundaries to communion with your entire being, your whole being, your oneness and consciousness of all things being, the intimacy of being. So it's an absence of judgment. If you're going to have communion with all of your being, there can't be judgment that's creating any separation from any quote-unquote part that you've decided you're not.
Right.
Wow.
That's the show today. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you all next week.
Well, you know, I guess my very curious question is, it's like, I'm really curious in terms of, like, you made that freaking phenomenal kind of like statement, and I'm like, but actually a couple of minutes earlier you said you had to learn to play, so I'm really curious about, tell me how your world has transformed.
Well, you know, truly transformed in the last 5 years since I discovered Access Consciousness. And the number one, it's funny because I was actually texting with someone this morning early, and who was, you know, having some trauma drama going on in their life, and I kind of was like, okay, back to basics. No, step one, stop fucking judging yourself. It was like, you know, like,
just stop it.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally something that we are so dependent on that we don't even realize it, and it's the very source of all of our misery. All of our trauma, all of the drama is sourced in our dependency on judgment. So that was the very number one thing that sort of opened my eyes and went, oh my God, as long as I'm swimming in all of this criticism and all of this judgment and all of the elements that judgment kind of breaks down to, like the conclusions and the decisions and the expectations and the projections, and like, oh, it's just rampant, it's insidious, it's everywhere, and it creates separation from our very being. All of the ways that we define ourselves, I'm this and I'm not that, they hold us in a cage that doesn't allow the space where the playgrounds of, to me, the playground of possibilities is a space that's infinite, and as long as you're defining yourself as this and not that, then you can't actually play in that space and that playground of possibilities.
I think, you know, I totally get everything that you're saying there, and especially about the self-judgment, Tamara, because it's funny, Laura and I were talking about that literally just before the show aired, and it is that, you know, it's almost like we're hardwired to judge ourselves and be really, really unkind to ourselves. And because we do it so often, because we do it so naturally, because we've been doing it for so fucking long, we don't even notice how horrible we're being to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It's true. Yeah.
You know, it's like, and what's it going to take to change that? What's it going to take to because, you know, if you think about how often do you speak to yourself the way you would speak to other people? It's like,
I know.
Like, okay. I'd be up for it, you know.
I actually used to take pride in the fact that no one could be harder on me than me. I was proud of that. I was like,
oh, that's
don't
insane.
worry. No need to judge me. I got this. You know what I mean? Like, it was really a source of pride. I mean, is that like the most insane thing you've ever heard? That I will be much harder on me than you could ever even think about being. So don't worry, I got this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, if I can get that hardness in, no pun intended on playing with yourself.
I cannot believe you said that.
Oh, I can.
Don't make me laugh or I can't. It's not fair. So it's like, if I can get my hardness in first, haha.
Okay, let me just stop.
So if I can get mine in quick, then it means that nobody else can get their hardness in me first. So, but you know, getting away from the puns.
Yeah, it's a defense. right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the way that we
difference.
defend against what we already have decided is going to come, is going to be delivered at us. Well, if I can judge myself first, I'll put up this nice little wall to make sure that all the other people who are going to judge me, that doesn't penetrate and I don't have to feel it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really interesting you say that. And, in terms of just being really authentic, it's like I think this morning I just really noticed just how much I use my body as a barrier to kind of like blocking out kind of like any kind of like, almost like keeping me safe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's because it's funny because in the chat room here, Rioja saying, she was taught that how you keep getting better is by being harder on yourself than anybody else is, and then you'll get those perfections. And it's like, that is just a really shitty, insidious insanity that we've been taught to believe, that all this constant self-judgment actually gets you to be the oneness. It's like, well, if you let go of the judgment, you'd have the fucking oneness in the first place. Do you know? Do you know what I mean? We're going about it arse about face. We've already got the bloody oneness. Why do we need to judge ourselves in order to find the oneness that we had in the first place?
And that's so funny. It's like we already have it, and yet we work so hard looking for it and trying to find it. And it's like, you just took a drink of your gin and tonic. Cheers.
I did. I did take a drink of my gin and tonic. Ha ha.
But yeah, we make it so complicated.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that, mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's no complication in being, right? It's like consciousness is simple, 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 and then the mind gets a hold of things and complicates everything up.
Yeah, because it can't be that simple. Intimacy and oneness cannot be that simple. I have to know when I'm not being oneness in order to know when I'm being oneness. So therefore, I have to create separation and judgment. And the only way to create it's like, and you can just feel this, and it feels so real and so intense. It's like, I have to do this, and I haven't done separation right yet. Otherwise, I'd know what oneness is.
We're so
love
cute.
that. That is so true. We are just little crazy makers.
We're totally insane.
It's totally insane.
So Christine in the chat room saying, "Oh, my head's spinning." Yeah, well, I haven't got a head at the moment. So Tamara, how does one start go about letting go of the judgment of self when it comes to play and intimacy?
Yeah, well, and again, back to this person I was texting this morning. There's many ways, right? Like, there's not just one how, step by step, this is how you do it. There's a lot of ways, and one of the ways is to just get clear about how you're defining yourself. It's that pride thing. Like, if you take pride in being a hard worker, then every time you are not being a hard worker, you're going to be judging yourself as failing, right? If you take pride in being a selfless person, then if you choose anything just for you, then you're going to, be like judging yourself that you're doing the wrong thing. So your definitions of you are a really strong trap, and it's one place you can start looking at. Because the thing is, if you want your life to change, and that was when I came to Access Consciousness 5 years ago, I was ready for a total life makeover. I didn't just have a little bit of this and a little bit of that I wanted to fine-tune. Oh, no. I wanted a total life makeover. And what I realized is that in order for my life to change, I had to be willing to be different. Like, I couldn't just go on being the same person that I was. I had to actually completely be willing to completely change who I was being in the world and how I was defining myself. Because all those definitions are limitations, and all of those definitions are sources of misery, especially on all the areas you're taking pride in. I'm a really good person, I'm a really great mom, I'm a, or whatever. It's like this is all fodder for judgment, right? Your definition of you, I'm not this, and then if you've decided that you're not a bitch, right? And then if you get bitchy one day, you're like, oh my God, I was such a bitch, I'm such a horrible person, right? So these definitions of ourselves can be a place where we will, it's just a way to continue to judge ourselves endlessly. So what if you're willing to just be any energy? Like any energy, and what if no energy you were ever being was ever wrong, or like perfect? If you've decided you need to be perfect, good luck, because perfect doesn't exist. Like, such sources of misery for ourselves.
But it's so funny that you're saying that. I'm like reminded of I dated somebody a while back, and they were like, "Are you like this or like this?" And I was like, "Actually, I'm both. It's just that I never know which moment I'm going to be which one in." And it's like, and how often people really need to kind of like put us in boxes and define us and figure us out and get us down, and it just doesn't work.
Okay, I reckon what we should do is go to break, and then we can talk more about this definition stuff when we get back, because I think there's lots more discussion we could have around that. So, yeah, if we'll be getting someone to push the magic button in a second, and we'll be back after these adverts. See you soon.
Were you told as a child to grow up, act your age, and stop being childish? And were you made to feel wrong for choosing to have fun? Is that still the same for you now that you're an adult? Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you created it with more fun, more ease, and in the knowledge that far more choices and possibilities are always available to you? Tune in to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones, who have fun playing with tools, techniques, and ideas that will inspire you to create more fun, more possibilities, and more magic in your life. Do you want to play? Listen for the Playground of Possibilities radio show every Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 4433-0001-0625. Or Skype us at A2Zen.fm. You can also email us questions or comments by sending emails to playgroundofpossibilities@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to the Playground of Possibilities with myself, Alun Jones, my gorgeous co-host, Laura Borland, and I almost got it wrong then, and the wonderful and gorgeous and amazing Tamara Yunkar. Woo! So, I'm playing now. I'm relearning how to play.
The gin's
I want
kicked
you
in.
to announce my entrance into every room I walk into. Alun, will you do that for me?
Will I do? Absolutely. Yeah, I'll do that. I think I should be a master of ceremonies. I think that's what I should be. So, yeah. So, juicy, very juicy. So, where am I? So, definitions. Yeah, it is. That coming back to what you were saying, both of you were saying about, where we define ourselves and having that pride, isn't it? There's all of this stuff around whether we should have pride for ourselves, whether we shouldn't have pride. Yeah, pride comes before a fall, but no, you should be proud of yourself. And especially coming from me from the background of, growing up as a gay man, there was a lot of thing around, be proud to be gay, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I never really got... Didn't you? Wow, I just outed myself. Oh my God, everyone listening. Wow, woo, Mum, don't listen to this.
Sorry.
So it's like, one minute we're told we should be proud of ourselves, the next minute we're told we're not. And where do we define ourselves, and what do we use to define ourselves? And if you go to one metaphysical thing, it tells you this is how you define consciousness, and someone else, it's like, it's a mind boggle.
Yeah.
Someone else.
To me, one of the things that the ways I sort of identify that energy of pride is that there's a proving. There's something that has to be proven. It's like I'm trying so hard to show everybody, look how selfless I am. Look how nice I am. Look how, whatever. It's like there's this energy of I have to prove it. If you're just being it, you don't have to prove it. So if there's an energy that you're simply willing to be with ease, there's no energy of like I have to look everybody, look how much I'm being this, right? I don't have to prove it to anyone. I'm simply being it.
Yeah.
And then if somebody was to come along and tell you, "Oh my God, you're the most selfish bitch on the planet," because you're not trying to prove that you're an unselfish person, then you can receive that delivery of that judgment with ease because you're like, well, I can be that too. I can be a totally, selfish bitch. I don't have to prove that I'm selfless. It's something that when you're willing to be all energies and you're giving up identity, you're giving up this limitation of these definitions of who you believe you're to be and who you believe yourself not to be, then there's an ease of being in the world that you can just receive whatever's being kind of delivered at you. One of the ways that people love to control one another is to sort of name call, right? Like if somebody, there was a woman I was having a conversation with once upon a time, and she was trying to get me to align and agree with her point of view, which I simply was not interested in doing. And so she tried every tactic she had, every strategy she could in her little, toolbox. And when none of it was working, she finally just came out and said, "Tamara, you're just so difficult." And I said, "I know, I love that about me."
Awesome.
And because I was willing to be the energy of difficult, I was willing for her to judge me as difficult. When she delivered that at me, I didn't freak out and start backpedaling in order to prove to her how not difficult I was. I just received it with ease. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be difficult if that's what's required right here, if that's what you want to perceive me as, because her judgment of me is simply a point of view.
And has that always been a space of ease for you, or has that been something that you've chosen more?
Oh, yeah, not a space of ease in the past. No.
Okay.
That was something I had to choose into. Yeah, this space and peace and ease of being that I have today has been cultivated very deliberately. Like I said, wanted a total life makeover 5 years ago, and I went to a level 2-3 class with Gary Douglas, who proceeded for 4 days to call me a liar. And I didn't quite understand why he was calling me a liar, because in my world I was being so very truthful, but I was being so masterful at lying to myself that I didn't even know I was doing it. And by the end of the 4th day, I finally raised my hand and I said, "Okay, Gary, what's it going to take for me to know that I'm lying to myself?" And that was the question to change all realities. What he came back with when I asked him that question was vulnerability. And vulnerability, of course, is one of the, well, of course I say, for those who have taken Access Consciousness classes, Foundation or Level 1, they will know that the 5 elements of intimacy consist of honor, trust, allowance, vulnerability, and gratitude. So vulnerability is required for sustainable change. If you're not willing to be vulnerable, then your life is not going to change. You might put a Band-Aid on it here or there. You might be able to do things that make you feel better for a while. But long-term sustainable change requires that you be vulnerable with yourself, first and foremost. And so by deliberately cultivating these 5 elements of intimacy over the years, I have there's an intimacy of being that exists for me now. It's kind of like that space of being, and and an allowance. That's one of those elements is allowance. So being willing to be an allowance of me, however I'm showing up, and being an allowance of everybody's point of view, no matter what it is, and what everybody's choosing. I mean, I could go on and on and on. But yeah, it's been deliberately cultivated.
And there's so much in that. Alun, go.
Sorry, I was going to say, when it's about having, and I'm coming back to it again, this allowance for ourselves, because we have so much we find it so much easier in some ways to have allowance for other people, because that's the right thing to do, of course, because if you have allowance for you, then that's wrong. And I think from my life, one of the things that I'd learned to be scared of is when you are vulnerable with yourself, then you may see things about yourself that you don't like, and of course interpret that into, well, everything that's hidden about me I'm not going to like, that's why it's hidden, otherwise it wouldn't be hidden. And of course, how much of what we hide about ourselves is not actually what would be unpleasant or horrible to look at. How much of where we've been really kind, really loving, really caring, all of those wonderful things that we've locked away. Because people always talk about the shadow part of yourself, as all those horrible bits that you can't let anyone see how bad you are. But actually, a lot of what we lock away as well are those really, really kind things that we have, that we daren't let people see because we've been knocked down for them for whatever reason in the past. And what if there's more of that going on that we've hidden from ourselves than there is the stuff that potentially could be not pleasant?
That's
Alun,
and you go.
So interesting that you say that, because at the beginning of the show I was talking about when I would play with myself, I was creating the world that I wanted to live in. And that included all those things you just mentioned. It included the kindness, it included a gentleness, it included a tenderness with others, an intimacy, an allowance for who they're being. It was all of those energies that I did not see in my outer world. I did not experience them, and I did not see them. So I actually had this point of view as a child that they were too, like, I saw harshness and cruelty and punishment and disdain and contempt, and that's what I saw in the outer world. And I was like, oh my God, all of this gentleness and all of this kindness, it won't withstand. Like, I actually thought it would be crushed. And I had to hide it away. I had to kind of, like, it was sort of like put it in a little box and then keep it safe hidden, and safely hidden. And that's all of the energy that I couldn't be in the world. So what did I do? I took on the harshness of this reality. I took on the judgment. I became the best criticizer there was, like, of myself and others. I mean, I was nasty.
Yeah, I totally get that, and from my background, Tamara, it was very, very similar for me. Having that. I mean, I don't know how it was for you, Laura. Was it kind of similar, different?
Well, it's funny actually, because I'm still a bit back in the conversation, because I'm just like thinking, I just had a real kind of like bang of awareness where you guys were talking around the stuff about so all the stuff that we're not willing to look at in ourselves. Where did we decide that was bad? And what if it could be expansive and yummy? And I just guess for me, it's like that kind of like, thank you for that. That's an awesome contribution for me, because I'm like thinking, wow. So it's just like, so what if instead of being scared to explore, we were curious and playful with exploring and not making it significant? And it's like, and what else? And what else? Well,
the nice guy always gets trodden on, doesn't he? That's an interesting point of view. Well, and we create that. It's like, oh well, nice people don't get ahead in life, and kind people, and I still see that. I still see people being crushed for being kind, and so it that really does take all of the elements of intimacy, of being totally vulnerable and willing to receive that judgment of being that kind of kind. Sorry.
But is that because it's like sometimes it's like if we've got such a strong point of view about whether it's other people being kind or us being kind, that actually then it's like we're not willing to see spaces where people are not?
I didn't even hear that. I couldn't even hear that.
Well, I'm just like thinking so basically if I think that you're kind and it's like, and that rides over everything. Basically, if you're ever going to be innocent that's unkind to me, I'm not going to see it.
I think absolutely. What are we willing to see in other people? But also, when people say to me, "You're really kind," I don't see it.
So what would it take you to see it as if by magic? I wonder.
I know. It's just like, people say to me, you are one of the kindest people I know, and I push it away. Oh, thank you very much. And I kind of go away thinking that's just bollocks. Because I think I'm really mean and horrible.
I know you are. You're really horrible. There's no kindness in you at all.
I'm a complete wanker. So on that, back to playing with myself. On that note, we're coming up to another break. So having some awesome chat today with Tamara, myself, and Laura. So join us after these adverts, and we'll explore just a bit more.
Were you told as a child to grow up, act your age, and stop being childish? And were you made to feel wrong for choosing to have fun? Is that still the same for you now that you're an adult? Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you created it with more fun, more ease, and in the knowledge that far more choices and possibilities are always available to you? Tune in to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones, who have fun playing with tools, techniques, and ideas that will inspire you to create more fun, more possibilities, and more magic in your life. Do you want to play? Listen for the Playground of Possibilities radio show every Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 4433-0001-0625. Or Skype us at A2Zen.fm. You can also email us questions or comments by sending emails to playgroundofpossibilities@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to the Playground of Possibilities with myself, Laura Borland, my very lovely playmate, Alun Jones.
Hello.
I like how you say that. And the awesome Tamara Juncker, who, let's just dive right back in. It's like in the break, Tamara put a comment in the chat room saying vulnerability is fun for me, and I'm like, tell us more about that.
Get vulnerable,
baby. Yeah, I will. 1 second. Had to change phones. There we go.
Awesome.
So, vulnerability is fun for me. Well, it was interesting what you were saying before the break, where you were talking about being scared to explore.
Yeah.
You know, the quote-unquote we hide from ourselves. And in order for me to discover where and how much I was lying to myself, I really had to explore this energy of vulnerability, because I honestly didn't know what the heck it was. I mean, as I had just shared again before the break, all of the kindness and all of the gentleness and all of the caring I had actually hidden from myself, because when I looked into the world and I saw the harshness and the brutality and the contempt and the disdain and all of that, I was like, oh, well, that's how you're supposed to do it. And you create this really hardness, you know, like you go into the world and you're hard and you don't let anyone walk on you, and you don't, you know, you push back and you've got to make stuff happen, and there's a harshness and a hardness to functioning in the world that way. So really, all of the beauty that was my being, I had hidden not only from the world, because again, we were talking about kindness, right? A lot of people interpret kindness as weakness, and there are a lot of people who do get crushed. And what I discovered is, as I was cultivating very deliberately vulnerability, I realized, I was like, wow, this is where all my potency is. Ha ha ha! Who knew? There is a potency. I know, it doesn't make sense, does it? But there's a potency to being vulnerable that makes you literally like unstoppable in the world. It's like nobody can control you, nobody can manipulate you, nobody can take advantage of you, because you have developed so much trust in you and what you know and what you're choosing and what you're creating in the world, that, you know, that's really, like, being vulnerable with yourself is discovering that hidden beauty in you. And then as I discovered that, as I rediscovered it rather, as I was like, you know what, all of this stuff I've been hiding from myself and the world, I'm actually going to now reveal that. I want to take that and I want to reveal that to the world. But I had to go through this sort of process of realizing that that's not like the way I was functioning, all the hardness and all the proving energy and all the defense and all the protection, like that was never going to get me what I desired in the world. And I said when I was a little kid, I played by myself in a world that I wanted to, in the world that I wanted to live in, and the world that I would like to live in is a world where kindness and possibility prevails. And if I walk around separate and alienated and isolated and hard and proving and defending, then I was never going to have that world. Unless I wanted to have it all by myself. And I was tired of having it all by myself. I actually wanted to share it intimately with others. So I had to start being willing to be vulnerable. And that was revealing what I had kept hidden. It was revealing my gentleness. It was revealing my kindness to myself first and then to others. And as I did that, I was like, holy cow, there's a whole shit ton of potency here that I had never tapped.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? If you can't be kind to yourself, how can you ever really kind to somebody else? Because otherwise you're having this definition of what you've decided kindness really is, that you've never experienced from you. Yeah, that you've never experienced from you. And so then you make a decision, and it is a judgment as well about what actually being kind to somebody else is. And, of course, as Laura was saying earlier on, you can't then see where other people are being kind or unkind to you. Yeah. You're misinterpreting everything.
Totally, and I see people, I kind of talk about the energy of kind versus nice, and you know, you hear a lot of parents telling their kids, be nice, now come on, be nice, be nice, be nice, be nice. And it's like they learn, that means sacrifice yourself. Like, at the expense of you, be nice to others. Sometimes
play nicely.
Nice is not, sometimes nice is not what's required, right? Like,
absolutely.
So kindness, to me, the true energy of kindness is only possible when you have cultivated that intimacy of being with yourself, that where you know that there's a potency that is doesn't require you prove anything to anybody. You don't have to be in that like, I have to defend myself and I have to protect myself, and it comes off as this harshness. But true kindness is insanely gentle and not at all weak, because it is backed by a potency of I know what's true for me. I know what I'm choosing in the world. I know what I'm creating, and no one's going to stop me. Not even me.
And you know, when you're saying that, it's like you said earlier about like choosing into it, and then this like intimacy of being, and I'm like kind of, I don't even know what's the question I'm trying to ask, Alun. I guess what I'm trying, there's something around kind of like, I want to say how. How do you start choosing that?
I can't tell you how, but I can tell you the way.
Say that again, Tamara.
I said I can't tell you how, but I can tell you the way.
Tell us the way.
Guide us with your light.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
It's funny because the mind wants to know how, right? If somebody's got it right, the mind is immediately going to go, tell me how to do that, because I want to replicate it, I want to duplicate it. Tell me what you did. And so the mind goes right to how. It's some sort of means, method, modality, system. You know, tell me how you did it. And the thing is, there is you, the being that you be. You have a unique magic that doesn't exist anywhere in the world except that you be it. So no one can tell you how to be you. No one can tell you how to be the magic that you be. We can, however, give you ways to cultivate that for yourself. If you've shut it down, if you've cut yourself off from it, and the way that I mean, there's many ways I will, because this is the specialty that I've developed, is intimacy, right? There is a way that you can come back into genuine intimacy of being with you so that you can be that gift and contribution in the world. And to me, it's that intimacy of being is cultivated when you begin to play with these 5 elements of intimacy: the honor, the trust, the allowance, the vulnerability, the gratitude. When you begin to ask, show me, universe, what is vulnerability? That's literally where I started. I was like, I don't have the first clue about what the hell that is. So I asked to be shown, and I ran processes like what energy, space, and consciousness of infinite vulnerability can my body and I be right now with total ease, like things like that, and everything that didn't allow it, destroy and uncreate it, pod and pocket, like I had to ask to be shown, and as I asked more, I was shown more, and guess where I was shown? I was shown what I already was, that I had cut myself off from being willing to be. Huh.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a surprise.
Cute. And wow, it's like when you talk about this stuff, it's like it's like you're on fire with it. It's just it's just yummy to really listen to you.
Yeah, I could listen to Tamara talking for hours.
For
yeah, and that's it, and you you've kind of, well, I'm just going to use that word, you found that thing that kind of lights you up, that is fun for you, and that really excites me, because, it is coming back to that thing around relearning how to play. Because there were times when I was a child where I could play on my own when I was in my room, but the minute I stepped out of my room, it's almost like my room was my boundary.
Yeah.
And when I came out of my bedroom, and that wasn't always safe, depending on what kind of mood my mother was in, but it was like when you come out that room, it's like I'm in my mother's house, and therefore all of the rules that I had in my room have just suddenly disappeared, and I forgot how to play. So, how do we as adults play with everything, with just seeing, because I was asking questions this morning about what the fuck is life all about anyway? If it's all a big illusion, and and what is consciousness, and who the gives shit whether there's fucking consciousness here, there, or anywhere? It's just like, that's kind of where I'm at today. It's like I'm questioning everything. So what the hell is the point of it all? Yeah. And what if the whole point is just, why would the hell consciousness want to expand anyway? Who gives a shit? I know they're kind of quite bizarre questions, but that's kind of where I'm at. And so what can we, it's like, if it is look, if I'm in this life, whether it's consciousness or not consciousness, I may as well have a bloody good time while I'm here.
Yeah. I'm going to pick on one of the things you just said, Alan, if I may.
Yeah.
You asked the question why. You're like, why are we doing this? What's the point? Blah, blah, blah. And just like how, it's maybe not, if you want to duplicate or replicate something, like you want to bake a cake, you want to change a tire on a car, you want to fly a helicopter, how is a great question to ask, right? Just tell me how to do it. Tell me the steps. Tell me what's required. If you're creating, however, if you're innovating, if you're pioneering consciousness and you're creating something in your life that's never existed before, how is not going to get you there? And why?
I know.
And why is a similar type of question. Why is only useful if, in fact, what you're looking to do is validate or invalidate a judgment that you've already made.
Yeah.
Or a judgment that's already present. So when you're asking, why would we do this? Why would I? Why? Then really you're caught in a whirlpool of judgment that's just going to take you around and around and around and around. Because what you're looking for is someone to give you a good enough reason to stop judging, or you're looking for someone to give you a good enough reason to why you should buy into the judgment. You're looking to validate or invalidate the judgment that is already present. So why? Not such a useful question unless you want to stay in the whirlpool of judgment.
Absolutely.
You just got your butt kicked.
Absolutely, and I love all of that, and that's why I launched it as the way I did, because I know that why is such, and I never use that when I'm coaching people, because it just gets you into that space of, it's that we get into justifying it. But this morning I'm just like, not despair, but just really standing there going, what the fuck is the point of all of this?
Yeah, and who does that belong to?
Well, and that was something else I was asking as well. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because Dave in the chat room has just put, this reality encourages us to do rather than be, and that's so true. Yeah. And what did we learn about happiness as a child? If you watch a baby, there is no point to anything they're doing. They're just playing and having fun.
Yeah.
And sorry, go.
I was just going to say, there's this implied point of view that if you're playing, it's a demonstration of not caring. Because there's such a whimsical nature of play, right? Like, it's just like, well, if you care, you're going to be serious about this. We're going to get down to business. We're going to get serious. And there's no, as I said in the very beginning of the show, play and judgment cannot coexist. Those two energies are not compatible. So we've been taught to be serious. We've taught to take things seriously and take responsibility and all of that. And so if you're playing, then people are like, well, she just doesn't care. And it's like, oh, really? What if me playing is the greatest contribution to change on this planet that is possible?
You know, it's funny you say that, Tamara, because I adore playing. I love playing, and it's like, and actually what I'm beginning to see is just how wrong I've made myself for playing. And last week I was like, what if playing is the greatest contribution I could be making, and it's the most fun for me, but it's just that whole thing about, you know, being facile or shallow or not getting it or not taking it seriously, and just kind of like how much I was like trying to kill off that energy like within me.
Did you just say foreplay, Laura Borland, or did you say
I did
foreplay?
not. How dare you accuse me of such things?
I knew you meant foreplay, not foreplay. But I thought I would just tease you because
it's so much fun.
Because it's fun. It is actually fun for me to do that, and I'm really bad. And so, yeah, ha. So we've got about foreplay is foreplay, absolutely, Christine. So we've got about 10 minutes left of the show. Before we conclude, then, Tamara, tell us just a little bit about, have you got classes planned for the intimacy at the moment? How's that going for you?
I just did a 2.5-day intimacy class down in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which was those classes for me. I love, believe me, I love facilitating access classes. Hundreds of them now at this point, and not one is ever the same, which of course is playful, haha. And and in the last year, I started. It was over a year ago that I facilitated my first intimacy class. After really, truly, deliberately cultivating these 5 elements of intimacy in my life and seeing everything change, I used the tools of access consciousness. Thank God for tools of access consciousness. I used them to deliberately cultivate these 5 elements of intimacy in my life. Everything changed, and I created a couple of specialty classes around it, which, as I mentioned, I think I facilitated about 5 of those classes last year, and really that is my true joy. It is. Like I said, when I was playing as a child, I was playing in that energy of intimacy because I didn't see it existing in the world, and it's a world that I want to live in where we no longer require boundaries. We no longer require separation. We actually use separation as a way of protecting ourselves from what we're judging. Isn't that cute?
I know. I'm mad.
And if we just gave up judgment and allowed it to become obsolete in the first place, we could give up the protection, we could give up the boundaries, we could give up the separation, and we could play in the space of oneness and possibility and consciousness. And so that's my target for living because it's fun for me. And so facilitating these intimacy classes is inviting people back to that intimacy of being with themselves. And when you have that with yourself, then you can go out into the world and you can live intimately with everything and everyone all the time. I mean, what if you were living so intimately with yourself and the world around you that when someone in your presence was delivering some degree of judgment or unkindness at you, that it didn't even register as relevant to you. It just was simply information about how that person is functioning, and you could actually just continue to receive them fully, no matter what energy they were being.
Absolutely.
What kind of change would that create on the planet?
Absolutely.
Oof. Let's find out.
Yeah. So what's it going to take for us to create that?
Choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah. And I think for me, it's starting off, for me, the whole thing around here is being kind to me. That's got to be the place for me where I'm focusing my attention right now is, universe, show me what my life would be like if I were truly being kind to me all the time.
Oh, that's yummy.
Yum, yum.
I know, isn't that? Can you just feel that? And it is just like all of that judgment, just as you said, Tamara, is just so obsolete. It just doesn't even register.
It really is. It's just silly. So when you said that, the energy that I got was like pure. I call it yum yum. It's soft, right? It's this. It's like everything just melts. All of the harshness, all the boundaries, all the barriers, everything just melts, and it's like I become this puddle of goo. And I've decided that I've realized that I have so much more fun living in the world when I'm a puddle of goo than when I walk around like being all defended and protected and I'm like have to prove stuff. And so all of the softness, the gentleness of me, the kindness of me, that is now out. I am out of the closet. It is out into the world. I am showing people. I am revealing it all because that's everything that used to be just for me, just for fun, never tell anyone. And that's the thing that I find so fascinating is the greatest beauty and gift that you be is the very thing you're hiding from the world, most people. And what if you were actually willing to live intimately enough with yourself, like discover and cultivate that intimacy of being with you such that you trusted yourself to such a degree that you can let all of that yummy, goo, juicy, delicious, soft gentleness be out into the world instead of something you only tap into once in a great blue moon.
I'll have that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, baby.
Because as you were talking there, the biggest thought, the biggest awareness that came to me was, this whole thing around being kind to ourselves. If you have walls and barriers around being kind to you, so you can't receive kindness from you can't receive it from anyone or anything else.
No.
Nope.
You just can't. Yeah, because it's like, and you, if you cannot receive it from yourself, you cannot receive it from anyone else.
No.
And then we wonder why people are complete bitches to us. Yeah, and it's just like, shit, no wonder people are such bitches to me. Because I'm being so bitchy to myself. And so if you're nice to me, then I have to push you away. You must be weird. You must be a complete weirdo if you're kind to me.
I'm going to push you away.
Yeah.
I'm going to reject you. I'm going to refuse you.
We're so cute. We're so cute.
Wow.
So on that note, because it's been a really, really friggin' awesome show, and it's just really lovely and magical how things like work out. It's like actually it feels like a really nice time just to share kind of like some of the changes that are around.
Yes.
In terms of, so Tamara, it's just like honestly, it's with great joy that I'm kind of like Tamara's going to be taking over. Not even taking over because it'll just be different. But Tamara's going to be playing with Alun on the Playground of Possibilities from the start of April, and I'm going to be off doing other things. I'm hoping I can come and play sometimes.
Yes,
absolutely.
But it's just really awesomely lovely that actually it's at this point that you're here on our show as a guest, Tamara. How does it get better than that? Just in terms of, I love your energy, and I love like what you're bringing into the world. I think it's really awesome.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you. And I am just honored and overjoyed to join Alun and continue to the beautiful gift and contribution of this radio show that you guys have already been contributing for the last 6 months or so. And how does it get any better? That was possible.
How does it get any better? Yeah.
So it's exciting, and it's kind of poignant as well because Laura won't be with me, kind of being badly behaved with me each week. But then of course I'll have Tamara to be badly behaved too, and Laura will.
Please do.
We will rope you back to come be really awfully badly behaved.
Oh, for sure. And so next week is my last show, and I'm thinking, I have no idea what we're doing next week. Do you?
I was going to ask you, actually, as it's your last kind of co-host show, what would you like the subject to be next week?
I think we should talk about chocolate and sex.
Chocolate and sex. Chocolate and sex.
That
Let's
would be
do
a
it.
celebration for sure.
Absolutely. So, and hopefully my cough will have cleared up by then, so I won't be coughing as much. So I do apologise for that this week. But yeah, chocolate and sex next week. So yeah, that could be a lot of fun.
Or chocolate sex.
Chocolate sex. This is true. I think we should probably stop there before I say something that will be really bad. On that note, Laura and I will see you next week for chocolatey sex.
Have a lovely week, guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for choosing to listen to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones. We hope you enjoyed playing with us today and that you'll come play with us next Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on A to Zen.fm. Until then, what would it take for you to enjoy playing with choices and possibilities to create more fun, more magic, and more of everything?